PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. Leasing. Part 2. Listen, if the math works, lease the car. If the math doesn't work, do not lease the car. What you want is the customer to feel like when they leave the dealership that they've come out thousands of dollars better off. If somebody's not planning on keeping the car, if they're going to trade a car, if they like new cars, every one of them should lease. They're throwing their money away on a retail deal. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to work the math. Do me a big favor. Please don't get emotional. Don't be that person that goes, well, I just don't know if leasing works for everybody. Nothing works for everybody. But if you're looking at a portfolio where you could sell a lot more cars if your customer didn't come in upside down, then this is the fix. Plus, you get a 2 or 3 year old car coming back to you that you can sell again. Again, like we talked about next week, a twofer instead of a one-fer. Let's look at the numbers. If you've ever had my leasing class before, you've seen this. This is the greatest lease in the history of Toyota Motor Sales. Toyota Motor Credit Corporation, or TFS, probably never come back, but let's look. In 2006, it was a Tundra sell down because the all-new, big beefy, greatest truck ever 2007 was coming out. So what we're going to do is we're going to spin down the inventory by subventing or rebating or adding money to a lease, called a subvention. So here's what we started with. We had a truck that was $31,920 MSRP. The customer said, well, I really need to get my payment to $250 a month. How in the world do you get a payment to $250 a month if the truck started at $32,000? Well, boom, $249 a month plus tax. So we got stupid enough and we said, how much would it cost me to drive this truck for 3 years? I don't know, multiply 249 times 36 and you get $8,964. Swing your hands in the air right now if driving a $32,000 truck for 3 years for $8,964 seems like a bad deal, plus tax, because they're always going to get their tax. So I want to buy this truck at the end. Well, how do I do it? Well, I take the $8,964 I paid in payments. The residual's $19,600. Truck came back to the auction at $15,000. Toyota would have lost $4,000, but the customer wants to buy it for $5,000 too much. Let them buy it. Maintenance costs, you got to maintain the vehicles. Year 3, 4, and 5, you have to pay that out of your pocket. Toyota Care would pay for it now, but now you got to pay for it, and that's $23.38. I've done the math. Interest at new car rates, $1,256. I actually own the truck for $32,158. So you go, okay, see, that's just barely over the MSRP. Well, that's because basically what happened was the Tundra lease was set up at a very, very low interest rate. Interest rate, money factor, 0.0001. And the customer put $1,400 down. After $1,400 down in the tax, you own the truck for $32,158. What, Casey, what would have happened if I'd have bought the truck? I'm glad you asked. Here we go. Math, remember math, same truck, $31,920. The 60-month payment on a retail deal. Interest rate 3.9. Why do we use 3.9? Because that was the interest rate in 2006. It is what it is. What was the payment? Well, it wasn't $249. It was $552. First point of contention. The payment is $249 a month, or the payment is $552 a month. $249 and $249 is $498. You can get 2 of them and money left over for fuel. Let's don't stop there. 552 times 60, I own the truck for $33,120. Remember, on the other page, you own the truck after everything for $32, but we're not done yet. The first 36 payments, $19,872. That's what 552 is times 36. That's $11,000 more you spent out of your checking account than you had to spend to drive the car for 3 years. I know you want to own it. Why would you want to own this truck when the new Tundra is out? But whatever, let's keep going. To complete the purchase, $13,248. I've already told you they ran through the auction for about $15,000. This is fantastic. Now you have $1,800 worth of equity. Woo! You don't need any money down. What did it cost you to get $1,800 worth of equity? $11,000 in extra payments. Do not try to be a mathematical super genius and make that sound good. Maintenance cost is still going to be $23.38. So add the $23.38 to the $33,120. I'm at $33,120 plus the $23.38, it's going to cost me $35,458. That's why I say this lease will never come back again, because Toyota submitted this so much to move these things out. Even though we submitted this lease and it would have been cheaper to lease it and to buy it if you wanted it, we still only leased this vehicle at a little over 20%. Over 80% of the people still bought this vehicle retail. That's because we're not doing a good enough job. We're making this an emotional decision and not a mathematical decision. Do your homework. Work the math. Next week, what we're going to do is we're going to go through a current lease and show you how, even though it's not as good as this lease was, how the lease can keep money in your customer's pocket. Remember, if they come back in 3 years and they're not upside down, you're going to trade them into a new car. Let's wrap this up. The beauty part about what I just did was, if you didn't follow it, it's now in your phone or on your device, so you could play it 1,000 times. I'm telling you, this lease will never come back. But if you look at that and you look at the opportunity, I'll just be honest with you. I got one from my dad. I know you hear me talk about my dad all the time, but I put my dad in a truck for less than $250 a month, and I told him just to drive it for 3 years. What a tremendous deal. And he wanted the truck at the end, and I wouldn't let him have it. I said, no, I'm not going to pay $20,000 for that truck. It's not worth but $15,000. So look at every single lease deal. When Toyota comes out with a lease program, do it full scale, lease versus retail, and find out where the take it to ownership and find out where the customer would be mathematically. And be a better counsel to your customer. That'll keep them with you long term. Next week, what we're going to do is we're going to break down some current active leases, and we're going to look at why Toyota is interested in doing a lease portfolio. Remember, you got a great vehicle coming back in 3 years. You can retail that vehicle out while putting that same customer in another vehicle. That's a 2 times. That's a twofer. We want to raise the level of the number of units that you have pre-sold. This is a pre-sold unit. When this thing's coming back in, you should have it sold 3 or 4 months before the customer ever brings the vehicle back in. Managing your portfolio of sales is going to take you to the next level. And every one of us want to go to the next level. This has been PK52, the Saturday Morning Meeting.